Welcome to Revolution Sundays with yours truly, A.G. Green. You know what to do. Tag, share, and text. Text, share, and tag. Let's invite people to this gathering. It's time to vibe with our tribe. What an honor it is again to be with you spiritually, consciousness, with technology. It's a wonderful privilege. Tag, share, and text. Text, share, and tag. Again, Grand Rising, or whatever time of day it is you're watching me. You are viewing Revolution Sundays with yours truly, A.G. Green Sr. And we are spreading the word in this moment by inviting people who need a word, who need a message, who need guidance, who can vibe with our tribe. Tag, share, like, text. Do whatever comes to your heart to do. Now let's pray. Almighty, we're so thankful and grateful for this moment that you've granted us, that we are participating in. This is not autopilot. This is co-creation. Thank you right now for a new day. Thank you right now for fresh opportunities. Thank you for the chance again to master ourselves, master our reality. Let the healing continue. Let the growth continue. Let the transformation continue. We give you thanks, we give you praise. You are magnificent and you are glorious. Thank you for your guidance today. And thank you for the hearts and the minds that will be changed in so many great ways. We bless you today. Let those who have ears to hear what the Spirit is saying and apply it to their lives. And we bless you now as we remember the name, the power, the way, and the consciousness of Yeshua. It is so, and so it is. Again, we're so thankful and grateful to be with you on today. Thank all of you all for connecting and, as they say, tapping in on today. So glad to see you, and you on this particular morning. I always like to remind you of what Philippians 4:13 says. I can do all things through Christ, the Christos, who strengthens me. I want you to type it in the comment section. I can. Come on, type in the comment section. I can. That's it. Type it in the comment section. I can. It is a reminder that it is a divine partnership. It should be a reminder that it is a supernatural connection, a supernatural power, a supernatural mind, a supernatural wisdom that you have access to. And therefore, in any given moment, regardless of circumstances and situations, I can and I do all things through Christ, who gives me strength and gives me power. My goodness, who clarifies purpose. I can. Even when it hurts, I can. Yes, even when you're weary, I can. Even when you don't understand, I can. And I'm doing it with the help and the support and the partnership of the Christ mind. Now unto him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think. And it is according to the power that worketh in us. That's right. It's time for you to own the power. Type it in the comment section and speak to yourself. I am powerful. Come on. Speak to yourself and speak out loud while you're typing or however sequence you decide to set up. But Declare and decree with your fingers and with your lips, I am powerful. Come on, type it in the comment section. I am powerful. That's it. Know that you know that you know that you know that you know that I am powerful. That's it. I am powerful. I am powerful. Yes, type that in the comment section. I am powerful. What a blessing. What a privilege. What an honor to know that you know that you know that you are a powerful, dynamic, spiritual species. And you are so grateful to know that you possess such great power. Praise and gratitude alert. Praise and gratitude alert. Praise and gratitude alert. I want you to speak and type in the comment section what you give praise for today, what you are grateful for today. I want you to let me know in the comment section, what are you thankful and grateful for today? And I personally am thankful for today. I'm thankful for this day. I truly am thankful to continue as of now to be present in this existence. But what are you thankful and grateful for today? Type in the comment section what you are thankful for, what you're grateful for on today. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I thank you for everybody who's watching. I thank you for everybody who's present. Yes, yes, let's see here. Our resident therapist, Pastor Jerry Cotton, says, I'm grateful for you, teacher. Thank you so much. Needed that today, brother. Thank you for always being there for me and pouring into me. Oh, okay. I say namaste. Love you, my brother. Thank you. And to our resident mystic, Pastor Wesley Turk, he says, glad to be above ground. LOL. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else want to share what you're grateful for today? What you give praise to the creator, source, and sustainer for? What are you expressing gratitude for in this moment? Remember, it is the universal language. It is the universal language. It strengthens your connection with inner self. It strengthens your connection with the source. It strengthens your connection with the universe. It just brings you a world of greater, wonderful possibilities and wonderful things. See, my Krista says, I'm grateful for life and another day to grow. Wonderful, wonderful. Anybody else? What are you thankful and grateful for on today? You want to share what you're thankful and grateful for on today? Yes, what an honor and a privilege it is to know that you know that you know that you have things that you are grateful for. It is something. And continue every single day of your life to give thanks and praise. I was thinking within the last couple of weeks, having a conversation with the creator, the source, and I'm so glad that over the last 5 years, my life has shifted and pivoted in a way where I'm not looking for things to complain about. I'm looking for things to be grateful for. I'm looking for things to give praise to God, to the source, to the universe for. And sometimes praise it's an alteration and a permutation of thinking, which means we have to work at it because our neural pathways have been trained to only offer praise in certain situations. But I encourage you to put in the work from the heart, to decide right now, I'm going to find more reasons to be thankful than not. So I thank everybody for sharing here on today. Want to remind you to visit me at theaggreen.com, theaggreen.com. And if you have not joined our spiritual community, patreon.com/aggreen now. Come on, connect, vibe with this wonderful, wonderful tribe. Matter of fact, on Patreon, we've got a article that I'll be posting Tuesday evening, a new series. A new series will be launching on Patreon and in the blog. And since we're in the season where they are celebrating Easter, the resurrection, I released this series that I have been telling you all about for some time that was coming. Told you months ago that this series was coming. And I want you to make sure you take time out to read it. I think it'll be very educational and it will give you something to consider. Remember, part of our growth and maturation process is learning. And in our learning, we must read, not just watch videos, but read. And so there's a series starting this week called The Historical Jesus versus the Biblical Jesus. Which one is real? A 6-part series by yours truly. The historical Jesus versus the biblical Yeshua, or the biblical Jesus. Which one is real is the question. So that'll be dropping this week and for the next 6 weeks leading into the new month that'll be here in just a few days. Again, I appreciate you all who go there consistently and read and like and share what you are encountering in our community. And I will be reloading on some new content this week. So sync with me so that I can continue to provide guidance and information in areas that's going to elevate and inspire you. All right, one of my favorite segments that I like to get into. I need to know right now, what are you eating and sipping? And how are you feeling? What are you eating and sipping and how are you feeling? And I am sipping on some mushroom coffee and feeling a little sluggish now, but I'm good. What are you eating and sipping and how are you feeling? What are you eating and sipping and how are you feeling? Real quickly, I look forward to this because sometimes y'all be eating some exotic things early in the morning. What? Our resident mystic says he's sipping on water, agua, H2O. Anybody else want to tell us what are you eating and sipping and how are you feeling? What are you eating and sipping and how are you feeling? We checking in on you, seeing how things are going. I'm going to do my bst to be expeditious today. Here she go. Let's see. Hillary says Philly cheese steak omelet, hash browns, biscuits, and water. Okay. Very good. That's wow, she's throwing down again. Resident therapist says black coffee, feeling well and revived, excited about spring and new birth. Wonderful. Anybody else? What are you eating and sipping and how are you feeling? What are you eating and sipping and how are you feeling? Real quickly, what are you eating and sipping and how are you feeling? Yes, Hillary is getting it on. Getting it on. Wonderful. Krista says, feeling well. Thank you. Thank y'all for sharing. Let's see, she says, no, not my cooking got for free with rewards at Huddle House. All right, beautiful. However it is, you can manifest it That's a beautiful thing. All right. Appreciate y'all for sharing that. And I'm glad that everybody appears to be doing well. And we want to see that continue in your life. We're going to continue some teaching. I'm trying to wind this thing down, and I am winding it down. We're going to be in John chapter 10 and verse 30 today, John 10 and 30. Before that, we've been in John 14, and then after that, John 17 and 21. But I want to wind the teaching down so that I can move on to another subject, at least on Sundays. Okay. So this is part 11, the oneness of me and God, the oneness of me and God, part 11, right? The oneness of me and God. This is what we'll be discussing. We're going to go to use John chapter 10, verse 30 today. But as I said before, we've been in John 14 for weeks, and we spent a few weeks in John chapter 17. And I was going to do a deeper dive in John 17 and 21, and I decided to, for right now, to pull back a little bit and kind of scale it down and finish this presentation and give you some small highlights on overall what the teaching was about and some of the key takeaways, uh, or things we should take away from the teaching, and how it should impact us. John 10 and 30, I and my Father are one. I and my Father are one. All right. Thank you so much for putting that on the screen. I'm waiting on the NIV to come up as well. We also want to bring up John 17 and 21 to my sisters, John 17 and 21. We'll look at that, which is where we were over the last few weeks. Let's look at that scripture real quickly. Real quickly. And we're going to go ahead and look at also, let's see, that would be John 14 and 20 as well. John 14 and 20 as well. So let's look the text that I just called out. In addition to that would be Luke 17 and 21. And of course, John 14 and 20. John 14 and 20. Okay. Like the NIV here, I and the Father are one. Thank you so much. All right. Here's another NIV. That all of them may be one Father, just as you and me and I and you. May they be in us, so the world may believe that you have sent me. All right. We spent a significant amount of time in on John 17 and 21. And we're going to also look at the scripture in John chapter 14, verse 20. John chapter 14, verse 20. Okay, look like Chris is putting up the NIV today. All right. Uh, on that day, you will realize that I am in the Father, and you are in me, and I am in you. All right. All right. Very good. Very good. So I just kind of want to gently and chime in to let me know if you're still there. I don't know. Sometimes the numbers in this module are not accurate. Okay. They're coming back up again. Want to make sure folks are still here. Okay. And let me know if you can see and hear me well. I intend to ask that every broadcast. Let me know if you can see and hear me well. Let me know if you can see and hear me well. All right. Let me know if you can see and hear me well. Waiting on your feedback with that. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Okay, King James for these texts as well. That they all may be one as thou, Father, art in me and I in thee, that they may also be one in us, that the world may believe thou hast sent me. All right. I want to, as I'm, as I said before, winding down as it relates to this teaching, pick out a few key points that I definitely want you to do your best to remember. And remember, again, family, these videos, excuse me, are available in our spiritual community. And you can go back like a library at any time and reference them, anytime, pull them up. Now, let me also say this before I get into the teaching. Again, testimonies are important because testimonies typically indicate uh, that, you know, whatever it is you are doing in terms of faith and, of course, the applications of knowledge and wisdom, even that which you receive from this uh, spiritual community, it's making a powerful and positive impact on your life. So, last week, who remembers the statement I made last week that I wanted us to speak? I mentioned it last Sunday toward the end of the broadcast that I wanted us to speak all week. Who remembers that statement? Who remembers that statement, that declaration that we were making, that affirmation that I wanted you to declare that was really memorization? Who remembers the statement? Real quickly, real quickly. Who remembers the statement? And I'm not going to get into the specifics of people, not calling names of the testimonies. I'm not going to do that. Sometimes we have spies joining us, but uh, who remembers that? Uh, no resident therapist. That's not what I'm looking for, but please text that to me because I've been trying to think about that. Your interior realization expresses your external manifestation. Text that to me, please. I've been wanting to write that down someplace. No, I had you to make a statement. Um, I had you to make a statement, and some of you all have were saying that statement. No, thank you. I'm glad you put that up because I've been trying to remember that. There's a lot of stuff you might think is in my notes. It's not in my notes. It's coming while I'm talking from notes. And that statement, your interior realization expresses your external manifestation, came while I was teaching. But there was a declaration I wanted you to make from memorization. And we've got some, including myself, a few people who started making this statement. I want to see if you remember the statement. And since making this statement, they've received all kinds of good news, a cascade effect of good news, back to back, good things happening for them. Who remembers it? Who remembers it? Thank you, sir, for texting that to me. Who remembers it? Anybody on here remember the statement? This is also a good barometer to see who's listening, recording, and applying. Remember, teaching is only as good as the person who applies it. It can come from a great source, but its ability to work in your life is based on your application of it, your understanding and your application of the teaching. That's why we talk about the big C around here a lot, consistency. There are a lot of people that have good intentions but don't know how to follow through and won't. Consistency assures us that we follow through, that we're not receiving an injection, a shot in the arm that's that works only for a couple of hours. We're in this for the long term in terms of being on the trajectory to evolve, the states of consciousness to transform and to ascend. Okay, don't look like nobody is typing it in the comment section. I encouraged you at the end of the broadcast last week as we were experiencing a wonderful spiritual high, to speak to yourself every day. Thank God I have received good news this week, or I have received good news this week. I have received good news this week, or thank God I have received good news this week. This is a statement that I encourage people to make. This was Tuesday night. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Forgive me. I believe this was Tuesday night. I think this was Tuesday night. Yes. I think that this was Tuesday night. Anyway, some of us have been making that statement since that date. And we have been receiving good news. And so, again, there's no fretting involved with this. There's no begging involved with this. There's simply you and I as divine spiritual beings using our authority through faith, through the vehicle of faith, to co-create and co-manifest what we desire. And so just by merely living that as if it was already done, speaking that in past tense, speaking that from a place of finality and conclusion. I've received good news this week. Thank God I have received good news this week. I received good news this week. Just saying that in the morning, throughout the afternoon, whenever it will come to mind, and just being grateful for that. Good news starts showing up in people's lives. And so I wanted to bring that up because again, that can that there's something is not that's not really complex. It's very simple. But using your inner power and putting yourself in a state where you believed and you knew that you had received good news even before the phone rang, even before the email came, even before the communication was jump started. We lived in that state of consciousness. We believed from that state of consciousness and we receive results. Okay. All right. I just wanted to bring that up because when something is working, it's working. And again, knowledge is useless without application. Wisdom is useless to us without application. All right. Thank you so much. So, y'all remember that. Type that in the comment section right now. I am so thankful I received good news this week. Type that in the comment section. I am so thankful I received good news this week. Yes, I received good news this week. Type that in the comment section. And then speak it for a few more days with certainty. You don't have to try and believe it. You don't necessarily even need to put an emotion with it. It's just something that's already done. It's just something that you already know. I have received good news this week. And guess what? We're thankful for it. We're thankful for it. All right. So type that in the comment section. I'm so thankful I received good news this week. Absolutely. And then just going about your day, going about your business. And when it comes to mind again, speak that again. Speak it again when it comes to mind. Okay. All right. Uh, as we are discussing, I believe this is part 11. We just put that up. The oneness of me and God. There's some takeaways I want you to have from this particular teaching. Okay. There's some takeaways I want you to have from this particular teaching. There should be a liberation in knowing you are one with God. There should be a liberation knowing that you are one with God. And one of the major reasons why, other than for us to gain more of an understanding and for us to grow in terms of why this teaching is here and been here now for a while, is because I wanted people to be quote unquote delivered and unchained and unshackled. because we've got a lot of people who are in religious bondage, they're in mental bondage, they're in psychological bondage. Okay. Uh, they are literally living cognitive dissonance, happy one day, unhappy the next day. And it has a lot to do with their perspectives and perception of God and where they fit in the cosmic order. And this need to always perform, but yet are failing in their performance. There's a moment, quiet, family, disruptive, irreversible, when a person realizes that God is not merely someone they worship, petition, or wait on, but the very ground of their own being. Let's type that in the comment section. The source is the very ground of my own being. The source is the very ground of my own being. Type that in the comment section. Source is the very ground of my own being. When I say source, I'm referring to God, the creator, the source, the sustainer. Type that in the comment section. Source or the source is the very ground of my own being. When we realize this, it should not inflate our ego, it should dissolve it. To know that you are one with God is not about claiming superiority, it is to release separation. Separation of what? Separation and separation more than sin, fear, or ignorance has been humanity's deepest wound. Deepest wound. People are constantly um, trying to be good enough. And even though there's a doctrine of propitiation, which discusses from the traditional Christian theological framework of what they call substitution and atonement as it relates to salvation, or the salvific processes where Yeshua is to have died on a cross, having taken on the sins of the world, and according to some texts, is to cause you to be reconciled and in good standing with the Creator, in good standing with God. Yet there are so many people out there who, despite all that teaching, are taught from pulpits messages that continue to splinter them psychologically, cut them right down the middle, and cause them to question their worthiness, cause them to question being accepted by the Creator, causes them to question their connection with God the source, causes them to question the effectiveness of their prayers, the effectiveness of their studies, the effectiveness of their church, synagogue, or temple, attendance. It just causes them to question the very ground of their own being, and they don't understand that the creator that they're trying to please is not in some distant place. That creator exists within them. This teaching also highlights the end of the outsourced God. Wow. Let me put that in the comment section. The end of the outsourced God. And I'm going to get your opinion on this in a minute. The end of the outsourced God. This teaching is to challenge that, because a lot of religious conditioning subtly teaches that God is elsewhere. Yes, We quote texts. In their texts, I am the temple of the Holy Spirit. And then there are certain doctrines of interpenetration, which many religions, excuse me, really some denominations within Christianity fight the doctrine of interpenetration. And then, of course, their doctrines, their teachings, excuse me, and texts about the Spirit entering into you, so forth and so on. But despite all that, the emphasis causes people, or the emphasis of certain religious conditioning, subtly teaches that God is above you because he's distant in heaven, or he exists in a different state, or he is beyond you. That it teaches that God is always watching you. It teaches that God is always judging you. And it teaches that occasionally there's going to be some divine intervention from this outsourced God. And I'm going to say to you that the teaching is more fickle than people realize. There are a lot of things that are unbalanced that we balance out because of cognitive and confirmation bias. They don't add up. There are texts they tell you to quote when you're sick or when people are dying, and some people quote them and get results, but there are millions who quote them and don't get the same results. But then there's going to be a balancing of that scale, even when it doesn't work, to put the onus completely on God. Somewhere, somehow, people have moved away from the idea of understanding that a principle is a principle that should work all the time, every time. Listen, even if you malpractice in understanding gravity and how to use gravity, gravity is going to work every time. What do I mean by malpractice or misuse it? Well, stepping off the top of a tall building accidentally. Gravity is not going to be like, oh, I'm not going to work when you step off the side. No, every time, unless again, supernatural things have happened. I know people who've been caught by they believe to be angels. Of being caught them when they fell out of a hotel window or fell out a high-rise building. But for the most part, that gravity, that law of gravity, still they fell. They descended. That law is in effect, at least on this planet, all the time. And of course, when you escape what we call gravity on this planet and move past that, when you get into what they call outer space, then the effects of gravity on the craft is not the same as the effect of gravity that we continue to experience on Earth. So I want you to understand that uh, the teaching that God is above you, beyond you, watching you, judging you, and occasionally intervening. This framing creates a psychological dependency, a God outside the self who must be appeased, convinced, or begged. But mystics across traditions and increasingly scientists have pointed toward a different realization. God is not outside you, God is in the field in which you exist. I want you to type that in the comment section. God is not outside of me, God is in the field in which I exist. Type that in the comment section. God is not outside of me. God is in the field in which I exist. I've quoted this from Meister Eckhart several times, and I will continue to quote it because it is profound. He said, the eye through which I see God is the same eye through which God sees me. This is not ontology. This is not poetry, excuse me. I'm going to say that again. It's not poetry. It is ontology. It is being. So, again, this is about your core belief and how you frame in your paradigm and in your perception and in your perspectives who and what God is. You think that, Lord have mercy, you think that the creator that's at work in your life that you believe is working outside in a different set of principles, but you don't understand is that the God that's operating in your life is based on the God you believe is operating in your life. In other words, the God that you are co-creating and co-manifesting based on a set of definitions, a set of prerequisites, a set of parameters. Mhm. These are all things that has built a, a, a strong confirmation and cognitive bias that creates a reality tunnel. And this is why people don't see their God or their conceptual framework of God work any differently in their lives than what they actually believe. I do believe that God, the source, intervenes, intervenes to reveal itself in a way that's bigger than your paradigm. I do believe people have these moments, but for the most part, what we know as God, the supreme being, the almighty one that's present everywhere, that's responsible for creation and all that exists within it, is not going to be received because your conditioning tells you that this is devilish, this is evil, this can't be God, this can't be the creator, it can't be the sustainer, it can't be the source. So what happens is when there are some divine interventions where the creator is trying to show you the real creator, many times that's rejected. Why? Because your mind will not allow you to accept it. So it's powerful. The eye through which I see God is the same image through which God sees me. The next thing this teaching should do is provide identity liberation. Identity liberation, teaching you that you are not separate. So, from a psychological perspective, separation means anxiety. Separation means anxiety. Modern psychology confirms what mystics intuited. The ego is a boundary making mechanism. This is so powerful. It defines me versus not me in order to survive. Let me put that up on the screen. Let me put that up on the screen. I talk about the ego, I talk about the persona for many times, and I do it purposefully because I want you to understand that many of the things we've settled on as beliefs are not ours alone. They are a combination of other people that we've allowed to create and craft and shape an ego or a persona. But I want you to know this ego, which is replete with our conditioned behavior, our conditioned philosophies, our conditioned ideas, is the thing that makes boundaries. It creates boundaries. Okay, I really want you to consider that. I really want you to allow that to resonate within you. It is the thing that's creating boundaries. So the boundaries, family, are not coming from a God in the sky in a distant place. The boundaries are not coming from some enemy external to us. The boundary is coming from our own personality. It's coming from our own belief systems. The ego is a boundary making mechanism. It defines me versus not me in order to survive. Hear what I'm saying today. While I'm talking, I quickly want a few of you all to chime in and tell me, what does this statement mean to you? Seeing this statement on screen and hearing me utter this statement, what things are coming to your mind right now? In other words, again, this ego, this persona, what's creating the definition of me, what I consider to be me, and what I don't consider to be me. In other words, me versus what God is. Me versus what I think other people are. Me versus what I think evil is. The ego is defining that there's nobody outside of us doing this. It is us. We are the ones who are doing this. So we have been conditioned, and I'm waiting for your comments. We have been conditioned to define, okay, this is me, this is me, this is me spiritually, this is me in terms of demonstrating my intelligence, my abilities, but it's not God. Or this is God, all God, all God. But this part is me. It's like, it's amazing how people can attribute great things to God, but they can also attribute a whole lot of calamity and pain and loss and death. And don't get me wrong, I get why they do that, because the Bible that they read, especially in the Old Testament, that God is really rough. That God, in some senses, is described as pathological, very insecure, bloodthirsty, even at times. So in modern day times, they honestly believe that there are times they're sick, and they're sick because God wants them to be sick, just so God can get a message to them. Hear me. So in other words, there's a lot of confusion around what's me and what's not me. There's a lot of credit we give to God that we shouldn't be giving to God. We should be giving to ourselves. There's a lot of things we're attributing in terms of evil and bad to the devil, to demons, that should be attributed to ourselves. There's a gross confusion that exists, out there around this particular topic. All right. So I want you to understand that we make the boundaries. And I know, again, cause and effect, and you're thinking that cause and effect sometimes is separate from you. I understand that. I've been conditioned to believe all of that stuff. And you think your life is really your success and your prosperity and your happiness. Even many times people fixate on things. They're carnal and physical and natural. They tap more into that side than they do the spiritual. They believe that the physical is more real than the spiritual. And this is how they orient and order their lives. I get that. Even though I was raised in a spiritual household, there's still a side of us that appeals to humanity's presentation of itself, humanity's understanding of itself, again, that is separate and apart from the source, separate and apart from God. And it can be very conflicting. It can cause a great internal conflict. And we have been taught who's responsible for this, and then we believe that. Then we've been taught who's not responsible for this, which means we put it on other things or other beings. These things have become our core beliefs. Hear what I'm saying today. And I'm going to say it again. Have you ever noticed? Catch this, catch this, catch this. Have you ever noticed that everything you thought was real to you until it was proven otherwise? Have you ever noticed that? Did you notice how I paraphrased that? Real to you. Your nervous system said it was real. Your heartbeat, excuse me for the shaking, said it was real. The blood that flowed through your body said this real. The way you felt emotionally, or your emotions said, oh, this is real. Your feelings said, oh, this is real. Until you open yourself up to other possibilities to realize I was wrong about this. Wow. You felt it was real. Watch this. The evidence in your world said to you that it was real. And you know why? Because you believed it. It took you opening yourself up. It took me opening myself up to a reality that I was originally not privy to, before I could see that although it was real to me, it wasn't the ultimate reality. And I could now give up what was continuing to to show up as feedback in my life every single day based on that belief until something else was introduced that I actually accepted. Once I accepted that I'm believing this based on false information, faulty information, there is something better outside of this. Once I receive this, guess what? Guess what happens? I start receiving new feedback from what I believe, showing up in my reality again based on what I have sent out, what I have transmitted as the one who is believing, as the one who is co-creating, as the one who is co-manifesting. Catch this. Okay? Catch this. Catch this. So I want you to understand that you can have 100% success rate in what you believe in many situations because it's what you believe. Your ego is the thing that's creating these boundaries, which is the persona is the thing in us that's creating these boundaries. Again, it is our core beliefs. It is our personal philosophies. It is based on what we understand. And this is why you have a difficult time sometimes showing people error, because what you and I have experienced, there's some things I was taught, there's some things I just thought I knew about God and how God worked. And watch this. I continue to know that this to be true to me because I kept producing more of it based on what was fed to me. I could not see anything outside of what I had adopted as truth based on my interpretation even of data. Hear what I'm saying today. I don't want to get bogged down on this. I'm just trying to help you understand the layers that exist here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let me get on. I don't want to get stuck there because I feel like going deeper, but I don't want to get stuck there. Yet Carl Jung observed that healing does not occur by strengthening the ego indefinitely, but by integrating it into a larger self. So the ego can be healed by integrating it into a larger self. The self is not only the center, but the whole circumference, which embraces both conscious and unconscious. I'm going to say it again. The self is not only the center, but the whole circumference. So it's not just the center of a circle, it's the whole of it, which embraces both conscious and unconscious. So you and I, who at times language is used to define us as self, we are a combination of the conscious and the unconscious. And we are living, creating, transmitting, reflecting from what we're conscious and unconscious of. So in spiritual language, the self, Jung describes, is what religion has called God within. To know you are one with God is to realize you are not abandoned. You are not defective. You are not fundamentally lacking. You are expressed, not rejected. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to say that again. If we feel abandoned, then there is no true acknowledgement that we're one. It's one thing to feel abandoned by people, but it's another thing to live in this consciousness of feeling abandoned until we literally don't even believe or don't even sense or don't even know in the moment that I am not totally abandoned, because I'm always existing in a state, whether I'm aware of it or not, existentially, where I am one with God. I may not be aware of it, but I am. But as we evolve, transforming and sin, we should develop more of a sensitivity to be able to separate our feelings of separateness and abandonment as it relates to God, which there is an impossibility, versus the possibility of people being separate from us, which again, separation exists in terms of what we perceive in people based on what our beliefs are about ourselves and those people. I'm not trying to get too deep, it's just happening. Forgive me. So again, you are not abandoned. If you know you're one with God, then you should realize you're not abandoned. Come on now. I need you to let that sink in. I need you to breathe in and out right now. I need you to inhale this and exhale this. You are not defective. Again, people describe defectiveness based on anatomical attributes, and they define defectiveness again within the mind based on what people have conditioned them to believe is defective. But as a spirit, you are not defective. I'm going to say it again. As a spirit being, you are not defective. Then, lastly, you are not fundamentally lacking. Lack means that I don't have. Lack means that I am separate from something. Lack means that I am not connected to something. When we feel like we lack financially, we feel disconnected from financial means and financial resources. But if we have a healthy awareness of our oneness with God, we will know that God is the source of all things, including what we consider to be abundance, and including things we define in the realm of abundance. In addition to an abundance of love, joy, and peace and fulfillment, there is financial abundance. Again, every dollar and cent exists on a subatomic level, and exists on a subatomic level, family, that is part of the essence of God. God is in that atom. God is in that molecule. God is in those cells. And even if they move away from a cashless system into bits into, binary codes of ones and zeros, where money is only contained on hard drives in symbolic language of dollars and cents. The apparatus itself is made up of subatomic particles and atomic particles and molecules. And God is still a part of all of that. Hear me. There is no such thing as a broke creator. Therefore, should there really be such thing as a broke us? Wow. Wow. I need you to catch that. If the creator and real owner of all creation is the creator itself, and I am one with that creator, and that creator is in all, and all is in that creator. If the disconnect with these things exists, it's not because that source has pulled away from us and not allowed the resources to be there. It is because we, as co-creators, have decided in our minds we're separate and apart and should not and do not have access to it. Somebody type something to let me know if you're alive. Let me know I got some ears and some eyes watching me, please. Somebody somewhere speak up, because it's almost like it's an illusion that we create. It's an illusion that we create. And we attach conditions. We create the definitions, which ultimately creates the conditions. The realization is profoundly liberating because it removes the need to earn worthiness. It removes the need to earn worthiness. Let me tell you something about evolved beings. And I want to talk from our perspective as spirits who live in this body as to what it means to be evolved. But hear me, I want to talk about what it means to be an evolved being from the perspective of God, of the source. The source's perspective is true perspective, not through the eyes of religious dogma, not through the eyes of partially blind spiritual seers, but from pure consciousness, from pure spirituality, from pure source, Everything comes here worthy. You're worthy before you leave that dimension and come into this body, and you're worthy after you come into this body. There are no questions of worthiness in the metaphysical and the spiritual like you think there are. They don't exist. As it relates to the creator and the source, hear me, and I'm getting emotional talking about this because I know that I have grown. I know that I have expanded to even have this perspective. I don't care what you did. I don't care how tragic, and you could have done some highly immoral things, some highly suspect things. Hear what I'm saying today. Some things I would never think or dream of doing. Hear what I'm saying today. But from a person who is evolved in alignment with the creator, I see everybody as worthy. You don't have to earn worthiness with me now. I'm going to say it again. You don't have to earn worthiness with me now because everything is worthy. Everything is worthy to exist. Everything is worthy to thrive. Everything is worthy to be. Everything is worthy to have fulfillment. Yes, that person has to work out their mistakes, their missteps, where they got off, even if they've killed and murdered and hurt and wounded. You got to work out that along with the potential karmic ramifications, the reaping and sowing, potential reaping and sowing ramifications with that. And that too is a belief system I don't want to get into right now. But as far as your worthiness is concerned, you don't have to prove your worthiness to me. The fact that you're here tells me you're worthy. The fact that you are a spirit being says to me you're worthy, no matter what kind of life you live in. Everyone and everything is worthy. And guess what? The realization, and I'm trying to stop. Can I have a few more minutes? You realize more and more every day, and this is what I struggle with without getting emotional. The more I evolve, the more I feel like I don't belong here. I just don't. I struggle with that because I've moved from these critical, prejudicial, religious conditioning, mental spaces and places to a place of oneness with God, oneness with the source, understanding just basic spiritual principles of love and of worthiness. And the way that I see people is so diametrically opposed to the way other people see people until it sends ripples of sensitivity within my own self to make me question how much longer do I even want to be here? I don't see the world anymore the way many other people see it. And you shouldn't too. As you evolve, transforming and seeing, the way you see, the way you love, the way you move should change. The creator, the real creator, is not around here testing people so that they can prove their worthiness. It's not around here classifying folks. You are of the highest worthiness, and this person is of the lowest worthiness on the scale. There is none of that from the real source, from the real creator. And when you move from that system, from that prison, because it's a prison, it is a prison of our own making. The creator didn't create this prison. The source didn't create this prison. God did not create this prison. We created these prisons in our minds. It's challenging. I'm not going to lie about it. It's challenging. And sometimes people think something's wrong with you. You feel like something's wrong with you. Nothing's wrong with you. You've just evolved. That stuff is petty to you now. It don't mean nothing anymore, because it doesn't mean anything to your source. Have you noticed, even though, again, I'm doing an article, family, again, on the historic Jesus versus the Jesus in the Bible. Do you know that even the real Yeshua that you'll read about, bits and pieces that we can see, was incredibly disconnected from the age, the mindset of the age. The reason why Yeshua stands out in scripture, and again, I just have to give you this information. There's a consensus of scholars out there who believe, for the most part, that there's only bits and pieces of the real Yeshua in scripture. I know you're not going to hear that in your church, but I need to give you this information. I just need to give you this information. Notice the mindset of Yeshua, how it's even different than his disciples. Notice how everybody is worthy to Yeshua. He's talking to what they call a Samaritan woman, which is really a mixed breed, a mixed ethnic breed that the Jews were prejudiced against. He's having conversations at a well with this woman. Everything he does is from a lens and from an eye that's not of this world, that's not in tune with religious systems. He's not around here condemning folk. He's not around here judging folk because of the way they look and all this. He's not around here categorizing people. He loves all. He accepts all. And all are worthy. That spill with the Syrophoenician woman, it's not me for me to cast bread to the dogs. That the term dogs was heathen. He still ended up healing that woman's daughter because that was verbal jousting. I'm going to see how bad you want it, kind of thing. If he thought she was unworthy, her child was unworthy of being healed, who was considered to be in a different category, he would have never manifested healing in that child's life. It's a problem with our system today. We treat people based on the worthiness scale. That's why we got poverty. Don't get me wrong. It's partially why we got poverty. We got poverty because we create poverty. And poor people believe that they are poor and manifest more poverty. I'm not taking away the personal onus of responsibility, but as it relates to the collective consciousness that exists on this planet, there's a worthiness scale. There's a worthiness scale that they created, and it starts with ethnicity and race. Then it moves into gender. Excuse me. It starts with gender, because the patriarchal system thinks males think and act like they're superior to females. No, we're equal. Then after that, there's a racial system. Then after that, I should probably put number 2 as religious and racial as 3. There's a religious worthiness scale that is highly divisive and prejudicial, and is guilty and responsible for a lot of the carnage and death and subterfuge and evil that we have seen in the world for the last 4, 5, 6, 7,000 years. But when you see through the eyes of the true source, the man who's digging trash out of the trash can, you know, is just as worthy as you are. Hear what I'm saying today. Hear what I'm saying today. And you know what? I got to say this. I don't even think I'm going to finish this wrap up here today. Let me finish. I'm not going to finish this wrap up. I want to do neuroscience and the dissolving itself. Let me finish that starting next week. A standard of normalcy that includes all this crap I just described that pollutes us. That's what the standard of normalcy is about. And when you start evolving, when you start changing, when you start aligning with true love, when you start aligning with the source and check out of this stuff and stop participating, not only will you feel strange at first, but people around you will think you are strange. Do you realize that your criticisms of other people are prejudiced? What do I mean? I used to sit around like everybody else and We used to call it the dozens. It was called the dozens before my generation. Joning. We talk about people we could, whether we were in an airport, at school, on a bus stop. You talk about their clothes, talk about the way they look, all of that kind of stuff. Just all day long without a conscience. But what we didn't understand then is that it was juvenile, it was immature, it was carnal, because we were devaluing and defacing people with our words. Yeshua says, whoever says thou fool shall be in danger of the judgment. He's talking about the intent of the heart to demean and diminish and devalue somebody with what you're thinking in your heart that you eventually speak about that person. Why did he have issues with that? He had issues with that because from his perspective, nobody deserves to be dogged and criticized like that. Nobody, even the worst of the worst, is worthy of something. Should they be punished for crimes? Of course. But does it make them less worthy? No. And you start moving from that space and you start thinking, well, is life even fun anymore? Because I can't sit around and dog folk like I used to. I can't sit around and act like I know what people are thinking and project that on them. So it's just like now politics is a very divisive space. Being a leader out front puts you in the public eye. One of the things I despise about social media is that I see the value system on display every single day in the comment section. Period. We make up stuff about people that's not substantiated to demean their value. Hear what I'm saying today? We'll say folks took the bag and compromised on their people, and don't have a drop or a shred of evidence. We use this kind of stuff to demean people on the worthiness scale to try and send the message they ain't nothing and don't respect them. Even a thief is worthy of respect. There should be consequences for your thievish or thievery actions, but that person is worthy of existing. That person is worthy of being treated, watch this, as a spirit being, just like you are. It doesn't mean you don't watch them. It doesn't mean, I'm not saying that. But this stuff is in us to do, to lash out at folk, to demean people, to lower them on the scale of worth in our opinions, and inflate and make ourselves better. It's quiet in here now. When we do this, we're not operating from a place of an awareness of the creator in us, of an awareness of the oneness of God, because the real creator doesn't do that. The real creator doesn't make you jump through hoops and say, if you can jump through all these hoops, if you can keep all these rules, if you can do all these things, guess what? You're worthy of me. The real God doesn't do that. There's a statement in my notes here later. Let me find it. Let me find it. I'm gonna bring it again. I'm gonna bring it up again. Let me see if I can find it. It was powerful. I was looking at it earlier before I came on. Let's see if I can find it because it encapsulates uh what I'm teaching right now. I may not find it today. It's all right. It's all right. But I can paraphrase it. It's going to come up again, but I can paraphrase it. I can paraphrase it. And the paraphrase is this. God is not the real creator is not out to hurt and to punish what it indwells, what it is a part of, what it is one with. In a sense, it's punishing its own self. I want to encourage you, keep rising. I want to encourage you to keep expanding. I want to encourage you to keep growing. I want to encourage you that even if your growth makes other people feel uncomfortable, it's all right because it's your journey. Yeshua made a lot of people feel uncomfortable. You know why those folks felt uncomfortable? They felt uncomfortable because they knew that Yeshua had a different set of standards that he lived by. And Yeshua had the power to back up all of those standards. And I want to say to everybody who's watching me, everybody who's listening to me right now, yeah, there is a moment at hand to separate the sheep from the goats. The sheep are the ones who are really in alignment with the creator, with God, with the source, with the sustainer, with the divine mind, with the Christ mind. And the goats are the ones who have decided that they prefer the principles of the carnal, the principles of the ego, the principles of the non spiritual. They're invested in hate, they're invested in separation, they're invested in chaos, they're invested in worthiness scales, they're invested in caste systems. They're invested in a pure heart. If I'm talking to you, don't ever be ashamed of that growth, of that healing, of that change, of that transformation, of that ascension. I would leave this thought with you concerning yourself. I would leave this with you. Your challenge and my challenge is to consistently and persistently know, number one, I am already worthy as far as the Creator is concerned. Number two, I am worthy every single day of my existence. Don't mean I'm right. Don't mean I didn't fail today or any other day. Doesn't mean you won't make mistakes. Doesn't mean you don't have things to clean up. That's not what I'm saying. But you're worthy of existing. You're worthy of having love. You're worthy of living a fulfilled life. You're worthy of having love. You're worthy of having healing and wholeness. You're worthy of having abundance. You're worthy of fulfilling your purpose. You're worthy of knowing God. You're worthy of being received by God. You are worthy, whether you lift a finger or not. Your life is just as precious and priceless. Even if you wasted it, it's still precious and priceless as anyone else's. The one who created us, the one who gave us life, is still a part of us providing that life, that worthiness, our very being. I want you to type this in the comment section. I am worthy all day, every day. Type this in the comment section. I am worthy all day, every day. Type that in the comment section for me. I am worthy all day, every. Yep, worthiness doesn't mean there won't be punishment. Don't mean there won't be challenging days. Doesn't mean there won't be consequences. But I'm still worthy to exist. I'm still worthy to be. Type that in the comment section. Comment section. I am worthy all day, every day. Thank you. Thank you. Who else? Own it. Feel it when you're typing it. Embrace it. Don't just let it be something you strike the keys, strike those keys to create a sentence. Let it be something that your heart opens itself up to, that your heart receives. I am worthy all day, every day. Come on, type that in the comment section. I am worthy all day, every day. Who else? Who else? And we know we have some folk who jumped off, but who else? I'm shutting it down. I'm worthy all day, every day. I want to challenge you this week to see through the eyes and the heart of the source. Say to yourself, how would the source see this? How would God, the real God, see this? I'm going to challenge you. When you approach subjects and topics and people and places and things, how would the source see it? How would the creator see it? How would God see it? Embrace your place among the infinite lines of people that spans backwards through the corridor of time, who are and were worthy. All right. I hope that you take the opportunity to give today. Any offerings, tithes you desire, you can always do that. It's an opportunity to do that now. And of course, after I release you today with the shalom blessing, Almighty, I thank you that we are embracing our worthiness, and we're definitely embracing our oneness. It is authenticating and liberating to know that you are in us and we are in you. We are inseparable, and your love is inescapable. And I thank you in this moment for counting us all, regardless of gender, race, color, creed, sexual orientation, skin color. We are all loved and worthy. And I pray this in remembrance of the name, the power, the consciousness, and in the way of Yeshua. It is so, and so it is. See you, many of you all, in a few days. Shalom, shalom, peace, wholeness, and prosperity. Nothing missing. Nothing broken. Thank you for being a part of this journey of awakening and transformation. Support the light through Revolution Inc. by liking, sharing, and giving. Cash App $AG Green and $AG Green Enterprises. You can also give by Zelle. Anthony G. Green at hotmail.com is what you use. And Chime $Anthony/Green/336. If you haven't joined as a member of Patreon, now is a good time. We're a spiritual community that's evolving, transforming, and ascending. If you like what you have seen and heard, connect with us. It's time to vibe with your tribe. Also take time to visit theaggreen.com for the latest developments and just explore divinespeciesshop.com for spiritual tools to elevate your life. Your love and support helps keep this mission alive.